Hello everybody, it is me, Jack here, and welcome to the first ever video with commentary on this channel. If you'd watched my channel introduction trailer, you would have seen that I'm planning on doing a legendary West Roman campaign in Total War Attila, which is notorious for its extreme difficulty. This is a completely standard campaign with absolutely no mods that will impact the gameplay at all. The only thing I do have is a few graphical enhancements like the better water mod, and I think there's something to do with the Roman shields as well. Now this campaign starts in the year 395, and I will do my best to survive. I mean, it is extremely difficult, and I've never attempted to challenge this hard before. But we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to stop talking just in a second, and we will get going with the campaign.
The air was filled with smoke and blood. The Roman Empire was divided. From the Pillars of Hercules to the far reaches of the Adriatic, the Western Empire stretched. Sacred earth where men of greatness conquered. Those who followed neglected Rome, fighting over the scraps of past glory. They would either cast aside their petty differences or succumb to barbarous darkness. Behold a red horse, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. Romans of the Western Empire, those noble sons of the Eternal City, the time had come to restore power to Rome. They made ready for war. It was the will of the late Emperor Theodosius that Rome be divided, and this has left you in a precarious situation. Overstretched and desperately trying to protect the Western Empire from barbarian threat, the burden of military and civil maintenance has left your economy in tatters. Public order is waning, so it may be wise to consolidate your forces closer to the capital, ceding frontier territories as a buffer if necessary. Once your infrastructure has been strengthened and the immediate threats dealt with, you will be ready to strike forth, conquer your enemies, and if possible, regain dominion over the Eastern Roman Empire. Build a Roman Empire worthy of Augustus himself.
Right, well, there we go. We've had a nice introduction to the campaign there. So, my plan for this campaign, to start out with, is basically to abandon all these northern provinces, including Great Britain. I will attempt to, perhaps, just for a while, hold out in London, or Londinium, as it was called then, just because, well, it is my hometown, and I would like to see a bit of you know, longevity to where I live. What I'm planning on doing with these outer territories, certainly here, is abandoning them, just because they do nothing for me. They don't really benefit me at all, and I will just start some early research there. They really don't benefit me at all. If we look at the map, you can see my empire at the moment really is absolutely enormous. but I have precious few armies to help defend it. As it is, I think it's best we just pull them back and use the garrisons within our towns to what little effect they might have against the oncoming hordes. For some reason, I presume it's another early challenge factor is that your armies start off at a very, very low, sort of almost, in fact, half strength, except for the 10th Legion, and no, the 1st Legion is also very low on health. So we will move that legion back to here. Now, at the end of the day, I don't really care. The Eastern Roman Empire is also going to get swarmed, I think. If we look at the map and do it by, where is it? Sanitate? No, not sanitation. Fertility. You can see that, well, Italy, bits of Spain, or that's now Portugal, I guess. Northern Africa, surprisingly. Britain, not very much, is really where the fertility is strongest. So I'm going to be trying to hold on to those, especially in the later game, where it will become very useful to have stronger, certainly more formidable farming systems. When the fertility of the land everywhere drops, basically. Public order is also a massive issue. How to deal with that? Well, not entirely sure, but perhaps dismantle things that don't do well for public order, I guess. We are in for a hell of a lot of rebellions, I think is all that I can say. Right, so we will start by, in the north, I think we will just abandon all of these, to be honest. I'm not sure whether this is a good tactic or not, because if I abandon it, then the armies could just sort of pour through, but I think it's the best way to sort of slow their advance. I mean, I will abandon these outer ones here, like so. The 1st Legion I might pull back to Mediolanum. Public order, basically everywhere, including the Eternal City itself. Rome is absolutely god-awful. I'm not really sure how to deal with this. I feel building new things such as the salt works or upgrading to colonias and such like this is probably not the best strategy at the moment, just because A, it completely eradicates your food bonus, and it'll also lower public order for a time. I feel like upgrading something like this into an auditorium, just for the sake of increasing the public order in these areas. I think I'll do the same here. Now, I don't have very much funds to start with. None of these areas are looking particularly promising. I will try. None of these really give me anything from public order, but I will build a cattle herd there in an attempt to, increase the fertility of it, certainly at least a little bit at the start. I will now, I think, is probably best to end the term. I don't want to expand anything too much, because that'll just lead to more issues with building new things and public order. Public order is the greatest challenge at the start, and all the dealing with all the rebellions will be the biggest struggle. If we look at our provinces and order by public order, basically we are screwed. I think... No, in fact, all of our armies are also pretty crap. If we just... I'm sorry about that. Someone is playing a game. I don't know whether that pops up on your screen. I'm sure it does. There's some way to turn that off, I'm sure. Now, I think I'll end our first turn here. In fact, no, we will assign provincial governors. Where is Italia? This seems to be the only man for the job. Oh, yes, we will just chuck him into Italia, and that will increase the public order. And, of course, an edict. We will do bread and games, or bread and circuses, actually, is what it's called here, and that will increase the public order in that area. I also can assign another provincial governor. Where would be useful? Here, and perhaps in Magna Graecia. and one more perhaps in Liguria. In fact, no, we can't assign any more. But now I can do some more edicts, which will be useful. Public order basically everywhere, and just another edict here for public order. And another provisional governor. I don't see where I can actually... Ah, I see, I can use him. If I put him into Liguria. Ah, that makes everybody else hate us. Is that a good move? Probably not, but, well, it's worth it for the bread and circuses. Now, we'll end the turn there. As this is a legendary campaign, it does save the game on turn ends, before and after battles, all sorts of stuff like that. So there will be a bit of lag as the battle loads, because we are already being attacked by the Saxons in Camalodunum. As this is the very first battle, I will fight it. However, in future, I think I will just be auto-resolving the vast majority of these, for the simple reason that it will take god-awful amount of time if I was to, fight every single one on the battlefield. That would be very detrimental to the campaign, I think, and would take, years, basically, to finish, because each battle takes around half an hour. And, I don't really have that much time to spend doing this, as I am approaching my A-level exams, which are, up and coming and a little bit scary, but you never know. Right, so the battle's loaded, and we will... They have quite a large fleet, and it might be useful attempting to kill their general with this ship I have here. I think I might try that and go for their general, because when they get all their units onto the land, it's going to be a very desperate fight to survive. We have, infantry-wise, a Limitani Border Guards. Oh boy. I forgot how absolutely god-awful starting Roman units are. We will deploy them here and set them into a testudo. We'll put a barricade here. I feel like we should deploy our Sagittarii here and take them off fire at will. The cohorts will defend this sort of entrance to this center fort. Put them in testudo as well. And my scout equites I will deploy sort of back here, out of the way. Now, unfortunately, from the angle they're coming from, the towers don't provide too much defense. But we will start the battle, regardless, and attempt to go for their general. Now, they should be seasick, I think. However, I'm not sure how much that affects the fighting capabilities of them, as they are a seafaring nation, so I don't know whether that will actually change anything. I'll just set my men to flaming shot. Actually, no, I will set them to heavy shot, I think, because... Does that actually change the way they look? No, it doesn't. I thought I saw something there that, indicated our... The enemy tremble before our superior numbers? What are they on about? Anyway, our Roman Light Marines are boarding the Nordic Warlord here. For some reason, the displaying of the unit thing isn't going very well. I think that's because I'm on Legendary. It may also just be a bug. But we've boarded their ship, and I think they are seasick because our Light Marines seem to be doing quite well against them. If we look in here, I think, I'm not entirely sure, but something seems to be going wrong, and my Romans are being displayed in yellow, which is a bit interesting. I could have sworn that the Romans were red, but maybe that's to do with the shield mod I downloaded. I will have to look into that. If we look back at our fort, it's not looking great, is it? I mean, we will hide our scout equites in this forest bit here, which should provide a little bit of concealment, and then the enemy won't be able to see them. The Romans, the Light Marines, are doing very, very well, actually, against the Nordic Warlord. Hopefully we will be able to kill the general. If I use the whip, it will increase the melee defense. At the moment, I don't think the melee defense is actually an issue at the moment. Although they are shaken, and I might do that. That would be quite useful. If we can kill the Warlord, it really will benefit us, I think, in terms of this battle. Aha, there we go, we've killed him. Great, that'll really impact the enemy there. If we can just finish him off, in fact he may be routing soon. 43 men left. Then we can bring this ship back and perhaps attack another enemy vessel without it. Oh, there we go, we got him. We defeated the enemy general. We'll just wait till all my men return on board the ship. If we have a look, the enemy are approaching now. I think I've probably deployed my Sagittari in the wrong area, so I will just move them to another section of wall. This vessel I'll bring back. I mean, our men, I think, are now quite tired because of the... I think I used the whip feature. Yes, I did. And that will affect heavily the fatigue levels of the soldiers. My Sagittari are now moving into position. I will just speed up the battle a little bit because it is taking quite some time for them to all get their ships in position. That is the of course, great Attila AI for you there. Now, our tower is taking some shots. How effective those shots will be, I'm not sure. This is legendary, and so it will be very difficult to do well, as it were, against these infantry units. They haven't brought any cavalry, which is a shame, because I would have hoped that the is it Limitani? They're not even higher quality spear infantry. The Limitani would be able to absorb some of the damage from the cavalry charge, but it seems... I'll put it back onto normal time now, and it seems that the Saxons are getting into position. They are in red, which I think is a bit of an issue, because as far as I was aware, the Roman infantry and commanders and all sorts were red. I think that is a issue with the mod I downloaded, and something I will change, because I don't really like the look of them in red, particularly. Now, if I'm very careful here, I could sneak these scout equites into that archer unit, and I think I will do that. So the Sagittari I will set to fire on this Nordic band. Now, they're all shaken, actually, which is interesting because of the death of their general. So firing these arrows into them will be a useful move. The scout equites have decided to walk, which is, of course, not the correct thing to be doing. I will beach this ship now that all their units are on the land, and we will just wait whilst they get into position. Our Limitani, they are in defensive testudo, which will greatly increase their defensive capabilities. And you can see that the vast majority of these units are wavering. Or I say the vast majority, when in fact I was looking at one, but you know what I mean. There is one unit that is wavering, and that is because of the death of the general. In legendary campaign, or indeed legendary battles, the death of a general is a vital, weakness that you can take advantage of. Oh my goodness, my poor scout equites are getting absolutely slaughtered by this. I think it's a javelin unit. Yes, the javelin skirmishers were, putting the hurt onto my scout equites there. However, they got the charge in, and that should prove them quite useful. I've got my marines dismounted as well. They will... I'm not sure how effective these are. They are medium melee infantry. I'm not sure how good they are against land units, but they could work, and hopefully they'll provide useful support in battling the enemy. Now, it's interesting because the predicted chance to win for this was not very high. However, I feel quite confident that we can win this because we have broken at least 4, maybe even 4 units of the enemy already, and that's just because... now the cavalry are fleeing, however. Oh well. That isn't brilliant, but it'll do. Now, as I was saying before, that is because we killed the enemy general. Now, the enemy general, being killed by our light marines, if we are to survive, we'll have to repeat that sort of success many times. The battle seems to be going quite well. Our Limitani are really holding the line against this large group of sort of Saxon spears and Nordic band. I'll bring my light marines into position, try and get some archer fire down onto the enemy here. It's quite effective. I'm not sure how well it's working out. It doesn't seem to be getting too many kills. I'll just fire down on the Saxon spears here. get some more damage to them. Now at the moment our cohorts hasn't taken a single loss yet, but we are under fire from this Nordic bows unit, and I am hoping that you know, when I cause the enemy to rout, they will just... where are they going? Let's try and attack with this unit rather than run off this way, eh guys? You know, the enemy are right there. I don't really know where they think they're going. There we go, the AI seems to have finally worked out where the enemy actually are, and, you know, they should be able to deal with this sort of Nordic brigands, I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce that. Look at this very strong AI here. Never mind. Now the Limitani are starting to take some hits, so I will remove this unit from Testudo and bring them to here. Now that will leave them vulnerable to Archer Fire, and Archer Fire in Attila on Legendary is absolutely brutal. Right. Well, our sort of Roman Light Marines did very well against those skirmishers. I will now use them to sort of prop up, or in fact not prop up, but in fact recharge this Nordic Brigand unit there. Should be quite effective if they could actually, you know, move. They seem to be... oh, fair enough, they are winded and shaken. I will let them rest a moment. The enemy archers are in a position to shoot our men, but I will just sort of charge them into the fight, just so we can get this done with. It's taking quite a while to sort of beat down the enemy. However, they are all shaken, and hopefully these archers will rout as soon as the main body of the army also sort of gives in. We should be good to win this game. The enemy is at the walls. They say there is also a Nordic band here, but again, they should retreat as well. Some Saxon spears gave up there. These guys got recharged, which should again impact the sort of morale of that unit even more. There you go, another Nordic band shatters, and there is a sort of mass panic going on throughout this blob. There goes another unit, and one by one they are shattering. I'll target the Nordic bows with my Sagittarii. As we press the trap on this Saxon spears, we should win this actually, which is surprising considering the odds that we were given by the you know, the... oh, and they've given up. It's just the archers left. And they've routed as well. There we go. We have finished that battle, so I'll hit end battle here. It says a close victory. I'd say, you know, pretty solid victory for me, considering the number of men they had and the number of men we lost. Very well done, I'd say. Very nice number of kills on the light Roman Marines as well. They did very well, considering... there's only 64 of them in a unit, I think, which is, you know, quite a small unit versus the rest of them, which have, I think it's 160 on the setting I have it. There are many versions of unit sizes you can select, which will, you know, affect your game performance. Now the level's taking a long time to load. Hopefully it'll take less time than this. I think it's because it's also saving at the same time, but it is slowly grinding its way through. And in future, I probably won't fight battles like that. I will just take on warriors there. But I felt like it would be quite a fun thing just to have one battle at least at the start. Now the Swabians are running right through my territory. It'd probably be good to get a non-aggression pact with these guys, just in an attempt to stop them sort of pillaging absolutely everything. The Eastern Roman Empire are... well, I'm not really sure what they're up to. Here are the Quadians. I mean, I could fight this, but I have no interest in this area at all, so I'll just do a balanced fight and we will lose. I have no interest in protecting this area, and end of the day, if they want to take it, they can. And in a difficulty like this, if you destroy an enemy stack, you know, it doesn't take long before they come back ready and raring again with a full army. And there you go. So we killed an enemy in battle, a rebellion there, a rebellion there, a rebellion there, a rebellion. Right, we have lots of rebellions imminent, as I think we were aware from last turn. Now, we did abandon all of these settlements, which was probably... I would say it was a good strategy, but, you know, you can never be sure. I don't think I'll recruit any more units there. At the moment, the priority, I would say, is moving these armies further south to protect these territories. This army was going to go to Mediolanum, I believe, and the First Legion was going to move to Aquileia, which will help defend that entrance to Italy. If we look at the research tree, research is coming along well. Just attempting to... I think that's probably the best thing, to replace the Limitani with Comitatenses. Now, what was I going to do? The Swabians, I was going to initiate some diplomacy with the Swabians. Where are you? Actually, we'll just click on them. There we are. Yo, Swabian dude. How about we have... I think we already have a... Do we have a non-aggression pact? Doesn't look like it to me. If we just have a non-aggression pact and give them a region, perhaps? Now, the only region it says I can gift is Vienna for some reason. I think that's the only one they want. But if I give them a payment... Oh, nope. If I offer them a payment of a substantial amount of money, 5,500, they should be willing to accept. Okay, they weren't, but never mind. As it stands, you know, there's only one stack in our lands. Could be worse. Now, there's a rebellion imminent everywhere. The 7th Legion is looking, you know, rather flaky. We will move them into Bracara there. And we will add an auditorium in these areas, which will hopefully increase public order. I'd say we want to... food consumption is an issue, but I will build an amphitheatre there and dismantle that church. I don't want to deal with churches. Anything else, I think, is basically standard for now. The armies, I will recruit some units, some legio. Oh no, they're cohorts actually. I apologise. Some cohorts, which will be useful for defending, for when the hordes come down. Now, we've been recording for 24 minutes, so I think I'll record to 30 minutes and then end the episode. The Londinium army, perhaps, could do with some more units. We'll get 2 more Limitani, and then I think that's looking okay as the turn goes. For Rome, we can't build anything, as it's like we got a bit of a squalor problem. Oh well. You know, end of the day, there's a lot going on in the Empire, and it could be worse. If we look at the food, we're suffering quite a shortage of food in many areas. I hope the... Well, how do you pronounce that? The Yazgdes? Those guys don't attack... Actually, no, to be honest, I don't really care if they attack that. This entire area is... I'm perfectly happy if they destroy that. It's just as long as I hold on to Aquileia, which is the only passage through this sort of mountain range. Now, they're being replenished. I will hire a Ballistarier as well. And that looks pretty good to me, I think. Public order across the entire empire is in the red. Always great to see that. I think I'll end the turn there. Actually, I'll... Diplomacy, who am I at war with? If at all. The Jutes, don't care. These guys don't care. Ostrogoths, maybe try and make peace. Probably not going to happen. Nope. Never mind. Saxons, Sassanids, nah, nothing too frightening at the moment. I feel like abandoning some more, but I don't know whether that's necessary. Perhaps just leaving them to be captured. Now this army I will pull back to Octodurum, I think. That would be quite useful. And the one in that one's already moved, and that should be good for my turn, I think. I'll hit end turn here. And there we go, that's the end of the turn now. I'm expecting to be attacked by many armies. There are the Ostrogoths, the Seekers of Glory. They're encamped there. I'm sure they're willing to attack us. Oh, I should have abandoned something in Ireland, but oh well. The Jutes, nothing. Not surprising. I had expected to be under a huge barrage of assaults, but perhaps it's slightly slow to build up. Who knows? The Quadians, the Quadians. I mean, Again, as before, I could probably repeat the tactics I had in the other battle, but I'm not interested in that. So I'll just give up this settlement as well. As far as I can tell, it's on the outskirts of the Empire, and I don't really care where it is. So I can give up that. So they decided just to sack it and run off, I think. Ah, of course, Africa. I had also forgotten about Africa. East Rome. Fine. They're clearly coming to attack me. They look in a lovely position to attack me. Tingis. I've completely forgotten about Africa, it seems. Settlement sacked. It's always good. Rebellion imminent. Rebellion. Right. So, things are looking good. In that they're looking god-awful. But we have an army in Constantina. I can replace these Limitani with some comitatenses. Move this army to Carthage. War. Lots and lots of war declared. Demolition, construction, blah blah blah. Right, so we can change all of my Limitani border guards into comitatenses spears, which are slightly more effective against enemy units. Retrain those guys as well. Foderati, I'm not really sure what they think the deal is, but this army, lots of retraining to do here. And Londinium is an absolutely tiny city, and I don't think there's any point spending any of my money on upgrading that. I will, however, spend some here. I could upgrade that to increase public order, but I think what I would rather do is move this legion to here, upgrading those guys as I go, and raise another force here under Publius Vibius, that guy, with a very long name, and I will start training up some spears here, just to head off, and also, A, to increase public order, which is doing okay there, but also to fight off any attackers in future. Now we've researched that technology, so we will introduce the research of classical philosophy, which will help reduce corruption. Now, we have passed or are about to approach the 30-minute mark, which I think is probably something we should, pause at. As it stands, this city, I think we'll just abandon. Sirmium, I mean, the garrison here is very weak. Not much point doing anything because we have a huge Ostrogoth army there, but we'll leave it. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it for the first episode. Not too long, half an hour or so, which is okay. Abandon this huge area. We will take that back, I promise. And this area here as well. It just gives us a bit of a buffer. In fact, no, we will just beat down this rebellion quickly here. Game saving, and we will just destroy this rebel army very quickly with a auto-resolve, with a balanced battle, just so we get them out of our lands. Not much point. Kill the captives to show we don't mess about with these rebellions. Send these men back to Londinium, and the army the commander even can have a few upgrades. Now what have we got here? Nothing too interesting. Food shortages ended. Rebellions. Right, nothing of interest here. So I think that's going to be where I end the first episode, everybody. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to me and watch the video. I will have another episode coming out tomorrow where I will be using my proper microphone, which is something I look forward to. I bought it recently off Amazon. It's a Blue Snowball. I've heard really, really good reviews from it. And hopefully, it'll sound good and you guys will be able to enjoy the content. So thank you very much for checking out the video, and I will see you all next time. Bye.